In this section, I want to talk about chromosomes, what those are, how they're transmitted, and what happens if there are issues with the numbers of chromosomes in the body. So chromosomes are usually represented either like in this cartoon, an X, or sometimes just a line. It depends on what stage in DNA replication the cell is in, what the chromosomes will look like. But they are really just long pieces of DNA that carry genetic information, and they are condensed and compacted within the nucleus of our cells using proteins to tighten them up so that we can see them. If we didn't have those proteins to condense all of the DNA into these chromosomes, we actually wouldn't be able to fit all of our DNA within the nucleus. We have so much DNA, that 3 billion base pairs, that it wouldn't fit. And within eukaryotic organisms, those that have a nucleus, especially those that reproduce sexually, we have two major categories of chromosomes. We call one category autosomes. Autosomes are the chromosomes that are not involved in determining the sex of the organism. In most organisms, there is then a set or some sets of what are called sex chromosomes. Sex chromosomes will be the ones that carry the genes involved in sex determination. In humans and other mammals, in some reptiles, and in some insects, we use a sex determination system based on X and Y chromosomes, where X and Y are the two different sex chromosomes. In organisms that use that system, in general, if the individual has two X's, that individual will develop as female. If the individual has an X and a Y, that individual will become male. Birds, other reptiles, insects, lots of different other kinds of organisms that have different sexes have different ways that they determine their sex, but that's what we commonly see in mammals, including us, humans. So in humans, we have 23 different chromosomes. Chromosomes that are autosomes are given numbers, 1 through 22. And what you're seeing in this image here is called a karyotype, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit, but it's a picture. It's a literal physical picture of the chromosomes within a human cell. So you see 1 through 22, so all of these are autosomes. And because the way human reproduction works, one set of chromosomes comes from the mother, one set from the father. So that's why there are 2 chromosomes for each number. This individual inherited number 1 copy from mom, 1 copy from dad. So we have 2 copies of each of our chromosomes. And then down here, this is showing you what the X's would look like. So in an individual who has 2 X chromosomes, 1 X chromosome is inherited from the mother, 1 X chromosome is inherited from the father. In an individual who is XY, the X chromosome is inherited from the mother, the Y chromosome is inherited from the father. Most eukaryotes, including us, so any organism that has a nucleus, most of them are what we call diploid, which is what I said when I said that we get 1 copy from mom and 1 copy from dad. We have 2 copies of each chromosome. That's what diploid means. So we have 23 different sets, right? You have the 22 autosomes and then the 1 set of sex chromosomes. But a normal human right? The normal or the standard chromosome complement is that we have a total of 46. We have 44 autosomes and 2 sex chromosomes. Now, I told you we have this pair, right? One inherited from the mother, one inherited from the father. The pair of chromosomes are called homologous chromosomes. So, if we go back and look at this image, these two, both versions of chromosome 1, this is considered a homologous pair. The chromosome number 2, this is a homologous pair. Now, technically, X and Y are different chromosomes, but they get grouped together that way because they are the sex chromosomes. And there are a couple of regions where the Y and X have some similar genes. Now, each member of the pair should have the same genes, but can have different alleles. What they're showing you in this cartoon, here's the paternal copy of the chromosome. Here's the maternal copy of the chromosome. Both chromosomes have gene A. They both have gene A in the same location, but the paternal copy has the big A allele. The maternal copy has the little a allele. So it's gene A, but you can get different versions. Now again, the difference would be if we're comparing X and Y, there are a lot more genes on the X chromosome than we find on the Y chromosome. So that's really, at least in humans and other mammals, that's the only exception to that rule. But otherwise, this copy of chromosome 10 has the same genes as this copy of chromosome 10. They just might have different alleles. So the chromosomes are inherited through gametogenesis, the process of making, at least again in mammals, egg and sperm. What happens is there will be cells in the body that will duplicate their chromosomes and then start to divide them. And they'll actually divide twice so that we can have the full complement of chromosomes, like one copy of each. So in this organism, it has 6 chromosomes total. Right? It has 2 copies of red, 2 copies of gray, 2 copies of green. So first, red, gray, and green will separate out, and then they divide to make the gametes. So this could be the mother, it could be the father, but the same process is going on in the other parent. And that process where we go from a cell that has the right number of chromosomes to a cell that has the half number so that we can make a new organism, this process is called meiosis. And I'm not going to expect you to know all the details of meiosis and know all the details of all the divisions. This is just a general class. And so if you understand that meiosis is how we make gametes, that's really what I'm looking for. That's how we get from the 46 chromosomes in the adult cell to the 23 chromosomes in the egg and the sperm so that we can make the new organism. So of course, meiosis, that process of meiosis is important because it allows us to make the egg and the sperm. But meiosis is also really important because through meiosis, we can also get some genetic diversity. And one way that we get genetic diversity is through this process called crossing over. And so what can happen is, let's say this is chromosome 1, we'll say blue is the paternal, red is the maternal. In order to get a little bit more genetic diversity, and so the organism doesn't only get dad's full copy or mom's full copy, these copies that are homologous, right, they have the same genes, they might have different alleles, can mix and match. And that process is called crossing over. And so now you see that part of, let's call this dad's chromosome, has a little bit of mom's chromosome, and part of mom's chromosome has a little bit of dad's. So when these go to form gametes, the gametes will have a mix of the maternal and paternal chromosome from that parent. So that helps to increase diversity so that the whole chromosome isn't inherited together. You can get mixing and matching in order to kind of have that blending of traits. The other thing that happens during meiosis is what Mendel talked about, this idea of independent assortment. So again, let's say this is mom's, the blue, we'll call the blue dad's chromosomes, and we'll call the purple mom's chromosomes. Let's say this is happening in your body. Okay, so in your body, your cells, you're going to make some gametes. You're going to make egg or sperm. During meiosis, first you have that crossing over. So dad's chromosome swaps a piece with mom's chromosome. Dad's chromosome swaps a piece with mom's chromosome. That's great. Then we have this idea of independent assortment, and this is what Mendel had talked about as well. So we have option 1. The dad chromosomes stay together. So let's call the little one chromosome 1 and the big one is chromosome 2. So dad's chromosome 1 and dad's chromosome 2 stayed together. Mom's chromosome 1 and mom's chromosome 2 stayed together. Okay. But equally as likely, mom's chromosome 1 could go with dad's chromosome 2. Or dad's chromosome 1 with mom's chromosome 2. So it doesn't matter which parent the chromosome came from, your gametes need a copy of chromosome 1 and a copy of chromosome 2. Doesn't matter if it's from mom, doesn't matter if it's from dad, doesn't matter if it's got a little mix match from crossing over. All of these probabilities, they're all equally likely. And so again, that's how we get some increased genetic diversity from meiosis. That's why if you have siblings, you don't look the same as your siblings, because the gametes that led to you and the gametes that led to your siblings are different because of this process of crossing over and independent assortment. Sure, you look similar, and you probably look similar to your parents, but unless you're identical twins, you probably don't look identical. And sometimes you have siblings where you see them and you're like, I couldn't even tell they were related. So this idea of one individual being able to make all of these different kinds of gametes, right? Think about this is only if you have chromosomes 1 and 2. What if you have chromosomes 1 through 23? You can make a lot of different kinds of gametes. You can have all sorts of different random crossing over events, all sorts of different independent assortment events with both parents. So the odds are astronomical that, again, unless you're identical twins, that 2 offspring would be genetically identical. And so in fact, because of, this type of crossing over and this independent assortment, really what we're looking at is that even full siblings, you have the same mother and the same father, have about 50% shared genetic material instead of, what you would think would be higher, but only identical twins would have more. So siblings are about 50% genetically related to one another, and again, 50% related to the parents.